Okay. All right. We have a very, very important class today. Really take notes, and I think for the women, this is probably more important than for the guys. It's very important for the guys to know it. 1 second. Here comes Shira. Shira?
Hello?
Hi. Are you able to make it today or not?
I just walked in the store. I have left my headphones at home.
Okay.
I only have it till 3 o'clock to go to 8 places. And
okay, gotcha. Okay, so Josh will tape it. This is an extremely important class for women. So really pay attention. If you have any questions, please send me email questions. Okay?
I will. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a class day. All right.
Okay, here we are. So now we're at women and time-bound commandments. You may have all heard, Judaism is a male chauvinist religion, and, women don't have as many misses as guys, and all of this other garbage. Absolute garbage. Judaism views women as, in many ways, more stable, more central to the Jewish home than the guy. Basically, if a guy marries a good firm woman, the home will be good. Even if the woman marries a bad person, we're told that had Leah married Esav, we never would have had Amalek, and the whole world just different. She would have turned Esav around. Never says anything about that with a wicked woman being turned around by a guy. It's basically, it's not a male chauvinist, it's the opposite. We're going to start learning now. Here we go. Women are not obligated. Let's start with in the mitzvah sukkos. Women are not obligated to eat or sleep in the sukkah. Yet, it's extremely praiseworthy for them to do so. By the way, Ashkenazim would say a bracha if the woman were to eat in the sukkah. Spartan, the woman would do the mitzvah, but since it is not an obligation, then this Spartan would say, therefore, she doesn't say the bracha. Frankly, I understand the Spartan. Being Ashkenaz, my wife says the bracha, but I don't understand it. Okay. You've noticed there are other mitzvahs to show for blowing, where women are also not obligated for the Torah, but also have a rabbinic obligation. And there again, women are saying the bracha. Why is there a difference between men and women in their Torah observance? There are a few very small differences between men and women in an extremely small number of mitzvahs. These are called mitzvahs aseh shehazman grama. It means a positive, not negative, a positive time-bound commandment. There is no such thing. Yeah.
I'm not seeing you.
Me either.
Oh, 1 second. How's that?
There we go.
Oh.
Okay, fine. Okay. Okay. So a mitzvah's aseh shehazman. Specifically, let's look at the word. A mitzvah's aseh means a positive commandment. A commandment that says, do this. A commandment that don't do this, there is no difference between men and women on any of them. There's no such thing as a prohibition that women are not prohibited and guys are. No such thing. So we're only talking about the positiveness. We're going to get further on this. The list gets so detailed that there's like almost nothing that the women and men are different on. So a positive commandment and a time-bound commandment, that's still not enough. But this small list is going to get smaller, but this is the only place where women and men might be different. Women are different, but that doesn't mean that women are less or have less mitzvah observance because for some reason they are considered less important. Women and men are equal, but just because we're equal, we are not the same. This is the mistake of secular society. Women's rights and women's liberation means men and women are the same. No, we're not. Equal, yes. The same? No. Equal? but not equivalent. Okay? Very much so, not equivalent. Hashem makes the service that is required to him somewhat different based on what's the nature of difference between men and women. So let's explain it differently. In their natures, by discussing something that usually makes people come to wrong conclusions about Judaism, and thinking that it's male chauvinist, right? In the morning, I'm going to start raising people's eyebrows. I'm going to make the question sound worse. It will seem like I'm kind of burying myself. Don't worry, I have a big shovel. I'll dig myself up. Okay? So in the morning, we say, "Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has not made me a woman." Right. All right. What do the women say? Right? "Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe." Doesn't say "who has not made me a man." That everyone would be happy with, right? No, we don't say that. We say "who has made me according to his will." Well, thank you very much. You know, this doesn't really sound so good compared to "who has not made me a woman." Okay, I agree with you. At first glance, this really sounds bad. Okay, I'm probably 6 feet under right now. That's okay. My shovel is 7 feet long. Okay. Let's first look at what the women say much more carefully. "Blessed are you, Lord our God, King of the universe, who has made me according to his will." Remember Adon Olam? You all read it. What's Hashem's will? It's Torah. "Who has made me according to his Torah." What does this mean? We're taught that most women will merit to enter Gan Eden. Yet, no such similar teaching is mentioned about men. We're not talking about women who are out there not following Shabbos and being prostitutes or whatever. We're talking about most women who basically are out there following mitzvahs, a basically religious woman who's not, let's say, the top of her class and, the rebbitzin of the town. Your basic average Jewish lady who's trying a little, she's going to get to Gan Eden. Does it say the same thing about a guy? No. It's not an oversight. We're talking about, as a general rule, Gemara and other Torah sources refers to people who, as we said, are regular observant people. So in this situation, we're being taught that somehow your observant woman is more successful in the eyes of Hashem at handling the tests of this world than is your average guy in the same situation. She generally merits Gan Eden, whereas no such general was mentioned about the guys. The reason was told to me by Rabbi Zatzal. He said that women were made according to Hashem's will. They do not have the same tests that guys have. The nature of a woman is much more at peace with following the mitzvahs than is the nature of the average man. We're talking about, of course, somebody in the process of becoming a gay or somebody in the process of becoming a Baal Tshuva. We all have our fights with, what we were like and what we're becoming. But once we have gotten there, we're Shomer Shabbos, we're Shomer Kashrus, we're saying brachas every day, the woman is much more smooth sailing. I made this is my choice, this is what I am, I'm continuing on this path. Not so the guy. Rabbi Bullman asked, he said, who starts most of the wars? Who fills most of the prisons all around the world? Who performs most of the violent crimes? Women? No way. Men. The nature of men is not at peace with the world around them. Don't get me wrong. He said, both women and men need the Torah and need the mitzvahs. That's why men and women have almost all the mitzvahs the same. But there are a few that are different. They both need to subjugate their wills to the will of Hashem, which is the Torah. But there are some commandments which women simply do not need them. It's useless for them. The most important mitzvah in the Torah. Now, I was 6 feet under. I'm going to dig another 6 feet. Okay, I'm going to bury myself again. What's the most important mitzvah in the Torah? I know, if we were talking right now, you'd all be happy if I found some little mitzvah, like, I don't know, combing your mustache or something. You know, we say, okay, women don't need it. You'd all be happy, you'd go home and you'd say that was great. But if I pull out the most important mitzvah in the Torah, I say, has nothing to do with it. Now the fight starts again, right? So let's pull out the boxing gloves. Let's fight again. Here we go. The most important mitzvah in the Torah is to learn Torah day and night. It says that Talmud Torah keneged kulam. That the learning of Torah is more important, if I put it on a scale, than all the other 612 mitzvahs. This is a time-bound, positive commandment, which was not something commemorated, an event that saved the entire Jewish people. Women are not obligated in it. Okay, problem start. Even if man learns all day, he still has the obligation to learn a small amount day and night. And even if he's the most important rabbi in the world, and he knows more than anyone else, he still needs to learn Torah every day and every night. Yomam v'layla, it says in the Torah, day and night. Women's obligation to learn Torah, I mean, there are not allowed to be kosher Father Shabbos. Father-in-law is a baby. She has to grow in her emunah on a daily basis. But does she need, if she's already learned the laws of kashrus and she's teaching classes in it, does she need to sit there and keep reviewing it? No. Is the guy? Oh yeah. What's the difference? Women are smooth sound. Guys are at work. Okay, here we go. Women's obligation to learn Torah is not a time-bound commandment. They need to know the mitzvahs extremely well enough so that they'll not only not make mistakes in their observance, but they'll be able to teach their children, and they'll be able to grow. That's a lot of knowledge we need to know. They are also obligated to service them and grow closer to them in their beliefs every day. This requires them to learn and imbibe the words of the Torah and make them part of their lives. But they don't have to learn it every day and every night, especially not in a time-bound fashion. Let's take an example. Shmuel and Yael are taking care of a friend who's got cancer in the hospital. They leave early in the morning, get the kids to school. Shmuel gets home from davening. Yael and Shmuel run out to the hospital to take care of friend X. And the wife and the whole thing, they're dealing with it from morning. They come home late at night, they wake the babysitter up, kick her out, okay? And now they're just exhausted. She goes to sleep. Shmuel's not allowed to go to sleep. Shmuel has to spend 5 minutes learning Chumash or something. As he also in the morning had to learn 5 minutes or something. He's exhausted. He was doing this all day long. What do you want from this guy? He has an obligation. She doesn't. Why doesn't she have an obligation? She's busy with mitzvahs all day. If she has no obligation, time-bound to learn Torah, but she has to learn Torah. She has no time-bound obligation. Of course she has to know Torah, but she has no time-bound obligation of learning Torah every day, every morning, and every night. What's the difference? Why? It's not that Sarah's observance of the mitzvah of learning Torah is somehow less important to Hashem than Reuben's. Rather, Sarah's nature is that of a woman. She was made, as the bracha says in the morning, I'm starting to dig the hole out now, according to his will. What is meant by this? Go back to Adon Olam. According to his Torah. Hashem's will is his Torah. When a woman sees a guy that she's really attracted to, she might notice him and say, ooh, la, la. Right? And for the next 3 or 4 minutes, think about it. And then, her friend says, Sarah, you pass the coffee, and then she and a friend are already on the issue of coffee. The guy, out of mind. Reuven sees Miss America walk by. And for the next 3 weeks, when he's eating his coffee, when he's walking, when he's going to the bathroom, when he's taking out the garbage, he cannot get that thought out of his mind. It doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter how many times he switches subject. His mind is harping on the same subject. That type of Yetzer Hara does not exist by them. It does not exist. Their minds think differently. They don't have the same Yetzer Hara in the same way. They are. It's not that women aren't attracted to them. They are. But the same concept of, I can't stop thinking, but that does not exist by them. And because of that, a man is mamish at war all the time. A woman, she just has to know, let's say she sees this guy, he's really gorgeous, and she says, this is the right thing to do. She gets back on track with her thoughts. She's fine. Smooth sailing. It's a guy, Torah Shmora. I mean, did you see that girl? I mean, it's just, he's got to constantly fight. Which is why day and night, I don't care how much Torah you know, you have to learn again. Because the act of learning helps you grow. Because every day, as a guy, you are going to fall. Mm-hmm. And you need to, therefore, keep working just to stay where you are. A woman, that's just need that. Not part of her nature. Okay. Remember what Pirkei Avos tells us. Teaches us that we need to cancel our will whenever it comes into contradiction to Hashem's will. And then we need then replace our will with Hashem's will. For a woman, this replacement is not nearly as difficult as it is for guys. She simply chooses to be a Torah observant Jew. There she is. The guy, that canceling your will is something that needs to be done constantly, and as you cancel it, you need to immediately refill it with Hashem's will. It has to be done again and again and again, every day and every night. Okay. Okay. So as he said, so long as the woman is observant and is generally growing in Torah, and this is on a general basis, okay, she's going to be fine, even without the time bound commandment of day and night Torah study, because she was, again, made according to his will, his Torah. We're told that Hashem created the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, and then he created a cure for it, the Torah. So while both men and women need to learn Torah, and they both need the cure, only men who have a stronger ailment, sicker, okay, of being further from Hashem's will, have this as a time-bound commandment which encompasses all the days and all the nights of their life. But why does the man, you see, you say, okay, that's very nice, Rabbi, okay, you took the shovel and dug it out, but I'm about ready to dump the dirt back on your face. Okay? Why does man say, blessed are you, O Lord, our God, King of the universe, who has not made me a woman? Why don't we just have the woman say, who is made me according to his will, and let the man shut up? Okay, don't say anything. She has the extra bracha because she's closer, so Mazal Tov. Okay, why? What's he messing it up for by this thing? If she's closer to Hashem's will, then why would he thank Hashem for not having made him that way? Thank you very much for giving me a Yetzer Hara and making me further away from the Lord. I appreciate it. What a lousy bracha. Okay, so now, although it's a good question, there's an even better answer, and the answer, Yoshua.
I was gonna just ask being this woman, they just naturally just get it easier, and I think part of why that. In our when we're davening and we're thanking Hashem for not making us a woman, because we're able to do those mitzvahs on.
Exactly. It is definitely, you are on the right track, but let's just refine. You're completely on the right track, but let's get there. It's okay. Although it's a good question, is the purpose of this world, just like Joshua had alluded to, is to struggle through the tests of the Yetzer Hara and to succeed in becoming an Eved Hashem, a servant of Hashem. There's no way to win struggle. Having an extra mitzvah of having to learn Torah in a time-bound fashion. The man is being commanded to build his entire day, his work schedule, his sleep schedule, his eating schedule. Everything is built around this mitzvah of attacking the Yetzer Hara via learning Hashem's Torah. Have to do it day and night. Can't just do it at night. Can't just do it during the day. I'm exhausted. So what? Tough. In other words, his whole day is built around this mitzvah. True, he needs this and the woman doesn't. But the mitzvah is considered to be the greatest of all of the mitzvahs. When he says, thank you for not having made me a woman, what he's saying is, let's translate this. Thank you for the extra mitzvah of time-bound Torah study. He simultaneously knows that this comes with harder tests, but he knows that the mitzvah is worth the tests. So why doesn't the woman say, blessed are you, O Lord our God, for not having made that? Why shouldn't she thank Hashem for starting out on such a high level that she doesn't need the extra mitzvah, and where her success rate is more of a sure thing? That would be a great bracha. We'd still be fine, right? That's exactly what she is stating when she states, who has made me according to his will. By saying it that way, she's not embarrassing the mitzvah of time-bound Torah study. You agree that it would sound horrible if we would state the bracha this way. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, for not giving you the mitzvah to learn Torah every day and night. That would be like the world that would win the Guinness Book of World Records of the worst bracha. Okay? So she can't state this in that way. So how do you say it? Thank you for not making me a man. Excuse me? A man is what he is because he has this extra struggle, so that Hashem will give him the extra mitzvah, so that his whole nature is somebody who has to learn Torah. So by saying it in that way, you are really spitting in the face of the mitzvah. Instead, say it in the positive. Say, thank you for making me according to your will, where I already have the Torah inside me. And I don't have this struggle. So instead, she's merely thanking Hashem for making her in such a way where that mitzvah is simply not necessary for her. He says, thank you for not having made me a woman, right? Because he appreciates the struggle, because he realizes that the mitzvah is worth it. Now, we say, so, but 1 second, so why don't we all be made men? I'm not talking about the ability of having kids or not having kids. That's not talking about the physical. Why weren't we all created with the same test? There needs to be a balance, and we're not just talking about sexual things or anything like that. There needs to be a spiritual balance. There needs to be someone who is more intuitively straight on the path. And there needs to be somebody who is struggling intellectually. The two can work together to grow. And as he is failing and has a wife who's staying right where she is, that's going to pull him right back up. And as he's growing, he's going to pull her with him. There needs to be a back and forth. Okay. Similarly, there are other time-bound commandments that women are not obligated. But not all time-bound commandments are women exempt from. In fact, almost every single time-bound commandment in the Torah, when people say women aren't obligated by time-bound commandments, idiot. Women are obligated in almost every single time-bound commandment. almost every single one of them. I have approximately, she's not obligated in, and of those, a few of them we do anyway. So we're talking about 5. Okay? So, go take the thing about, women aren't obligated to time-bound commandments. It's like, no, they are obligated to time-bound commandments, okay? Let's go through this list. We had mentioned it together about 2 weeks ago. Let's go real quick. There are 3 basic issues. 1, this is the list of, you put the mitzvah into these lists. If it fulfills 1, 2, and 3, that's a mitzvah that a woman is not obligated to. Okay, but it has to be 1 and 2 and 3. Not 1 or 2 or 3. 1 and 2 and 3. 1, it has to be a time-bound commandment. If I have a positive commandment of put a fence on the roof of your building, okay, very nice. Okay, the woman has to do it. It's a positive commandment, yeah, but it's not time-bound. So, like, it's got nothing to do with the issue of benefit. It's got to be a time-bound issue. Fine. Issue number 2. That specific mitzvah is only a positive mitzvah obligation and doesn't have any other negative mitzvahs attached to it. Well, there's a positive mitzvah that's time-bound of honoring Shabbos. Yeah, but there's also 39 malachas that will kill you for if you don't do it, right? Another that are related to Shabbos also. So, in other words, it's a positive commandment, Shabbos, that's time-bound, but there are other negative commandments related to the exact same thing. Nope. Women are definitely obligated in the whole thing. So, anything for Shabbos, anything for Yom Tov, anything for any of these types of things, there's also, like, punishments for not doing the mitzvah. That's it. Women are obligated in the whole thing. You guys know. Okay. Category number 3. So we're getting pretty small over here, right? It's got to be a positive commandment, not negative. And then it's got to be one that's time-bound and not have any negative mitzvahs attached to the same mitzvah. Okay? So now let's chisel that small list to nothingness. Number 3. Even if this time-bound commandment that's positive does not have any negative commandments related to it, if that mitzvah is related to a situation that the entire Jewish people were saved from a tragedy by a miracle, either at the times of the Torah or rabbinic times, then women are obligated in that mitzvah exactly like guys. So, for example, the obligation of eating matzah on Pesach. Time-bound commandment. You were saved from Egypt. Right. Okay. Next. Hanukkah. Yeah. You live with Greeks right now? Right. Okay. You gotta do the whole thing. Purim.
Mm-hmm.
Achashverosh didn't kill you, right? It's a positive commandment. It's time-bound. Yeah, but Jewish people were saved by it. Gotta do the whole thing. Basically, very few mitzvahs fit into this category that make women not obligated. And even within that small list, there are still mitzvahs such as shofar. Let's stop for a minute. Shofar. Shofar, so good. Okay. Let's take a look at the shofar. It's a time-bound commandment, only on Rosh Hashanah. It's a positive commandment. It doesn't say don't blow something else. It says, it's a positive commandment. Are there any negative commandments related to the shofar? I mean, you can't do malachas on Rosh Hashanah. Yeah, but that's a different issue. Here is a specific mitzvah of shofar. We don't have any negative commandments of shofar. It doesn't say blow a ram's horn and don't blow a cow's horn. Now, we know from the Talmud that in order to be yotze and fulfill the mitzvah, it has to be a ram's horn. But there isn't a mitzvah to not blow the cow's horn, right? So it's only a positive commandment. It's time-bound. It's not commemorating anything that the Jewish people were saved from. Seems like we got it, right? Women can sleep through shofar blowing, right? Wait. Now we have, even on this small list of about 7 mitzvahs, we now have a situation where we have to look at the Talmud. What did women do in the times of the Talmud? It's not like it was new in the times of the Talmud. In other words, we see, did the Jewish women from the time of Mount Sinai and continuing, did the Jewish women, even though they weren't obligated, take on this mitzvah upon themselves for them and their sisters for all time? The answer is yes, and the litmus test is what were they doing in the time of the Talmud, and the Talmud will tell us. Then it has the form of a neder, a vow, for all Jewish women forever. So therefore, let's go take a look at the shofar. Yep, Talmud tells us straight out, women listen to the shofar. To the extent that they would go and do, basically jump over fences and do whatever they could to make sure they could get the shofar beat. So we now took our list of 7 and made it 6. Okay, so fine, she cast the list of the shofar. But what about the sukkah? It's a time-bound commandment. And again, just like the shofar, I'm not talking about, having to follow the laws of sukkahs as a Yom Tov. That's a different mitzvah. That's the laws of the Yom Tov of sukkahs, which has negative mitzvah commandments, the malachas. That, women and men are 100% the same. But here we have a specific mitzvah. It doesn't say, live in a sukkah and don't live outside. Live in a sukkah and don't live in your house. It doesn't say that. It says, live in a sukkah. Positive commandment. No negative commandments related to it. Time-bound. Does not commemorate something the Jewish people were saved from. Okay? They're not obligated. Okay, Jewish ladies, in history, what did you do? Did you take this upon yourself? Well, for God's sakes, no. Why? Excusing why. In the middle of October, it's starting to rain. Just had a baby. It's freezing and it's windy outside. You want me to go outside with a 3-day-old kid and sleep out there, eat out there? Have you lost your mind? You think I can take this upon myself and for all my sisters for the next 5,000 years and freeze the babies out? Are you crazy? Okay, you want me to go 1 day a year, I'll leave the kid with the babysitter, I'll run out for 5 minutes to the shul, hurt the shoulder, come out there, great, I'll come home. Okay, no problem. But you want me to eat and sleep outside with a baby? Get off it. So, of course, they're not obligated. Why would they accept this upon themselves? Okay, so therefore, they don't have the mitzvah. And Ashkenazim, okay, I'm partially Ashkenazic. Let's be a little bit schizophrenic. I don't understand. Why do we say a bracha? It makes no sense to me whatsoever. Okay, the women say bracha on eating in the sukkah. Okay, if you want to be Sephardic, I understand you very well. Okay, okay, Sephardic women do the mitzvah when it's convenient, okay, when they don't have the little baby, and if they do, and it's cold, they stay inside, they're just fine. They have absolutely no reason to drive themselves crazy and go inside with it. Fine, eat in the living room, keep the little Nino inside, and that's it. Okay, but they don't say a bracha when they do inside the sukkah. Frankly, Sephardic seems to me to make much more sense. It's not that the Ashkenazim, are stupid. They have their reasons for doing it. I don't get it. Okay, if somebody ever sees a good argument as to why, please email it to me. I would love to be able to justify the custom that I'm actually doing. I just don't understand it. Okay. There are a few time-bound commandments that it is actually not praiseworthy for a woman to even try to take upon herself. Okay, she's got the baby. Can she nurse him and put him right by the door? Just leave the door a little crack open with and come out and try to say the bracha and have eat the bread outside. It's okay. Is it praiseworthy? Highly praiseworthy. Should she try to do it? Yes. If it's going to be too difficult for the kid, okay. But what about things that they should not do. Okay, let's take 2 mitzvahs. And we only had 7. We're starting to eat this list from all ends, and then we're going to bolster the few that they shouldn't do. Those of you who live in Israel have all heard of the stupid group, which was started by my friends. Okay, I used to belong to the Jewish Theological Cemetery of America. That's the place where they teach the rabbinical students of the conservative movement. Anyway, there's a group of the women at the wall that my friends started years ago. What a bunch of jerks. Okay, wearing tzitzits and putting tefillin on. We'll talk about Rashi's daughters later. Okay, wearing tzitzits and having tefillin are time-bound commandments. They're positive commandments. There's no negative mitzvah related to them. So women are not obligated. Okay, well, what's the difference in that and shofar? You know, I mean, her baby's not going to starve or get cold if she puts tefillin on. So, like, what's the problem? What problem is it? Why shouldn't she do this? Okay, it should be highly praiseworthy for her to put these things on. And what's the problem? Okay. Well, women have not and should not take on these 2 mitzvahs upon themselves because there is a side problem. Since these are men's mitzvahs because they are time-bound, and not all women are going to do it, but all men are. These items are considered men's clothing. And there is a Torah prohibition for men to wear women's clothing and women to wear men's clothing. So since by the fact of what the mitzvah is, tzitzis and tefillin are men's clothing, if a few women would decide, I want to be more holy than you, the only way she can do this is by breaking another mitzvah. So this holy group that's trying to get close to Hashem, I can tell you about the unholiness of this group because it happened to my friends, happened to be the people who started this stupid movement. They are not, my first girlfriend wore a kippah and wore tzitzis, okay, in Manhattan. You gotta understand these people. They're not really interested in serving Hashem. They're interested in pushing their own way on the world. They may use external mitzvahs and trappings of cultural things to create lots of attention to themselves in such ways where they may see, I'm just as good a Jew as you. But if you actually try to show them an argument such as this is, excuse me, isn't there a problem of men's clothing? The answers you will hear are much less than impressive. You end up hearing from them because you understand that they're not really interested in serving Hashem. They're rather, and by the way, you're going to be very hard to find one that believes that the Torah is from Hashem. Okay? Rather than what they're interested in is being just as good as the guy. You said that you weren't just as good as the guy. It must be we don't understand Judaism well. You are just as good as the guy, if not better. But by doing this, you're telling Hashem to cancel his will in front of your will. Okay, and therefore, there's nothing more to say on this. Okay. As for Rashi's daughters, who it seems as though they may have put tefillin on privately, behind closed doors. These are mothers of the succos. Okay? 1 second, my child is calling me. What? What? Akiva, leave this thing alone. Leave it alone. Where is he? Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, so Rashi's daughters, where does it say that they put it in? First of all, there's a whole discussion in the Tosfot over there. Did they wear it? Did they not wear it? Why is there a discussion? If they were doing it, out on the street, then did people see it? The whole argument is talking about 2 women doing it in their own home, behind closed doors. Is there any problem with a woman wearing pants in her own bedroom with the window closed? The prohibition of wearing men's clothing is only publicly, if anybody would see her, because of promiscuity. That she shouldn't be mixing with the men, and the guy doing the same with the women. So, if there would be individual women who would decide on their own that for some reason they got some type of a spiritual high from wearing tefillin or whatever it is, would they be allowed to do it privately? No one should stop them. But if they were to start telling people and telling their friends, hey, you know what I do? Really? What's that got to do with this? You're talking about things that people are going to start knowing that you're wearing a men's garment. Mm-hmm. This is already getting into a different category. So, I'm not telling the women to go out and buy tefillin and wear them privately. I'm saying, if somebody were to do such a thing, alright, but people got to start knowing about it, that's already a different issue. Completely different issue. Alright. And the cause is so close to a different prohibition, so therefore it's not one of these things that, like with the sukkah, that we say it's praiseworthy to do. Rather, I would say to any women who have such a idea in their head, there are so many other mitzvahs that you can spend your time, your effort, and your money on to make them better. Work more on those. This is a mitzvah that doesn't really have much to do with you. Okay, back to the sukkah. We're done with the women's issue thing. Before we go on, Yael, do you have any questions on this women's issue thing?
No.
Okay, good. And back to the sukkah. After the first day in Eretz Yisrael, and the first 2 days in the rest of the world, comes Chol HaMoed. We already went through the laws of Chol HaMoed, okay? When Shabbos is not directly after Yom Tov, it is the same as the rest of the Shabbos of the year. In other words, I've got a Shabbos in the middle of Chol HaMoed, okay? Then it's the same as any other Shabbos, except for a few small changes in the davening. Okay, as far as the halacha of how to observe this Shabbos, okay, your meals need to be in the sukkah. You need to sleep in the sukkah. But as far as the 39 halachos, nothing changes. Okay? As far as the davening, the only thing that changes in the davening is this next little list that we're going to have. By the way, the 4 species of lulav and stuff is not taken on Shabbos. It's taken all of the days of Sukkot, but not on Shabbos. And even if the first day of Sukkot, which happens to be a dioraisa that you have to take the 4 species, the first day of Sukkot is Shabbos, we don't take the lulav on that day. Now this sounds very strange. We're going to get right after this, I'm going to go into what changes in the prayers, okay? Let's deal with this for a minute. We learned in the introduction to Halacha that a dioraisa is kind of like a truck, a big 18-wheeler truck. And the durabanan is kind of like a bicycle. I have a truck going this way and a bike going this way. Who has to move? The bike moves, okay? The durabanan turns, okay? Not always. Sometimes there is a reason why we might actually seem like we're never canceling the dioraisa. It seems like we're canceling a dioraisa commandment. Now, the rabbis can't cancel a Torah commandment. You can't add or subtract from the Torah law. That would be an absolute prohibition. The Torah itself says you cannot add to the Torah, you cannot take away from the Torah. So many unknowledgeable people take this situation of what happens on Sukkot and what happens on Rosh Hashanah when Shabbos and Yom Tov meet, and they see what the rabbis did, and they say, see, even the rabbis cancel Torah law, so we can do the same. Let me first explain to you why they think that, and then I just took the stuff away and unburied myself. I'm going to bury them. Okay, so here we go. All right, so here we go. Rosh Hashanah, first day, is Shabbos. Uh-oh. What about the shofar? Rabbi said, well, they might get so excited about this mitzvah that happens once a year that we've got to make sure that they're not going to make a mistake and carry their shofar to shul on Shabbos. Because if they miss this, just like if Purim falls on Shabbos, what do? In order so that they won't carry their Megillah, we take the entire Yom Tov and move it. Okay, we don't let Purim happen on Shabbos. We simply say, oh, there's a problem with Shabbos. It's okay, just move the Yom Tov. Okay, you can do it because the whole holiday is Durban. You can't move Rosh Hashanah. It's D'Oraisa. So if I say, don't take the shofar on the first day of Rosh Hashanah, that's canceling the Torah commandment. Can't do that. If I say a thing called shave ve'al tas, which means sit back and just don't do it, which doesn't mean in every situation. If we were to say that in every situation, then that's canceling the Torah commandment. But if we were to say there are times when, because of certain problems, we could come to a worse problem by trying to follow this mitzvah than what we would gain by doing the mitzvah. And therefore, in this specific situation, we tell the community to stop. Next year, we'll do it. Do we have an obligation from the Torah to take the show, to listen to the shofar on the first day of Rosh Hashanah and to take the lulav on the first day of Sukkot? Yes. When Shabbos comes, do I have a D'Oraisa obligation? Yes. Even if Shabbos is Rosh Hashanah and Shabbos is first day of Sukkot, I have an obligation to D'Oraisa. The obligation still exists, but the rabbis are so afraid of a community that is so excited by this mitzvah that they get to do once a year, that they say the community should know whether you have an eruv or whether you don't have an eruv. Sit back and don't do it. You'll do it almost every Sukkot for the rest of your life. You'll do it nearly every Rosh Hashanah for the rest of your life. On this 1 year, where the first day hits Shabbos, we, the rabbis, have made an edict, don't touch the thing. It's muktzah. So that you will end up not having the worst problem of breaking Shabbos, which is a death sentence, versus the not fulfilling a positive Torah commandment. What's the punishment for not fulfilling a positive Torah commandment? Not even lashes. It's not great, but when I have a rabbinic commandment saying you're okay in this situation, simply because we're afraid that you are making a worse mistake. Therefore, it's not considered an avera. So you say, okay, you know what we're going to do? We're going to have police force. Anybody who walks out of the house with the shofar, we'll shoot him. And we're just going to keep the one shofar in the shul, and we'll blow it there. We're going to attach the shofar to the wall of the shul with a chain, okay? And, that's it. No such thing. Because somebody's going to sneak the shofar out. And therefore, lo palu. I don't care if she's 95 years old and won this ugly contest, right? I don't care if you are not going to make this mistake. You are not allowed to blow the shofar on Rosh Hashanah, because the rabbis made the shofar muktzah when Rosh Hashanah hits Shabbos. Same thing with the lulav and the etrog. Rabbis made it muktzah. You can't move it. Okay? Because of their fear of the Jewish community breaking a worse avera. Okay? So here we see it's not that they're canceling it, they're keeping a community away from something worse on a temporary basis, and most of the time they're going to end up doing it anyway, because most of the time this day is not on Shabbos. Okay. Okay. So now let's get back to in the prayer book which things are different when you have Shabbos on Sukkot, whether it be Yom Tov Sukkot. Let's just deal with a regular Shabbos in the middle of Chol Hamoed. We say inside the third to the last bracha, Ya'aleh v'yavo. This is said on Chodesh, on all of the three pilgrimage festivals of Pesach, Shavuos, and Sukkot. It's also said on Rosh Hashanah. It's also said on Yom Kippur. Okay, even though Yom Kippur is not a Yom Tov, it's a Shabbos, we say it then. Okay. This particular thing of Ya'aleh v'yavo is said when a special korban is added for anything other than Shabbos. Okay. 2. Oh, by the way, that's only said in the first Shemona Esrei. It's not said in the Musaf. Okay, next. Unlike Pesach, and Sukkot has a full Hallel added every single day. Pesach has a full Hallel only on the first day and a half Hallel on the other days, including the last Yom Tov of Pesach. Shvi Shal Pesach, right? It's a Yom Tov, only half Hallel. It's not an issue of Chol Hamoed. The reason for this difference is that on Sukkot, every single day there was a different korban. It went from bringing a certain amount of cows to another lessening each day, lesser and lesser and lesser, right? But it was a different korban each day. Meaning that every day, including Chol Hamoed, is actually a different Yom Tov as far as the Beis Hamikdash is concerned. Pesach, same thing as we say in Spanish, Beis Makosa. Okay, same thing every single day of Pesach. I don't care if it's Yom Tov, I don't care if it's Chol Hamoed, I don't care if it's Pesach. It's Pesach, it's the same korban. Okay, so the first time you're bringing it that way for the year, which is the first Yom Tov, full Hallel. The other days, hey, we did this yesterday, so don't get so excited. It's a half Hallel. All right, that's the way it's done. All right. Just did that. Okay. The third difference. Okay, so remember, the first one is the Ya'aleh v'yavo. Second difference is what goes on in Hallel between Pesach and Sukkot. Okay, and that Hallel thing, by the way, is not affected by Shabbos. The Hallel is going to ignore Shabbos. In other words, if it's Shabbos and it's the first day of Yom Tov, full Hallel. If it's Shabbos and it's a regular Chol Hamoed day of Pesach, half Hallel. Shabbos does not affect what I do with Hallel. The Hallel structure ignores the fact that it's Shabbos and just keeps going. Okay? Third difference. On all days of Sukkot, Hoshanas are said during Shacharis. Hoshanas are save us. Okay? In other words, there's a whole thing. We're about ready to go through the winter. If we don't have the rain, we're all going to drop dead. Okay? We're about ready to enter the difficult part of the year. And therefore, this is concept of asking for help. The men encircle the bima once each day. On Shabbos, they don't hold the 4 species. On the rest of Chol Hamoed and on Yom Tov, they hold the 4 species during the Hosanna service. Either way, the same words are said. We say the Hosanna services. Okay? Musaf, 4. Musaf is said every day. And the changing numbers of korbans of that day for Sukkot are said. So you're mentioning it as a different Yom Tov. And on Pesach also you mention what it is, even though it doesn't change. Say the same thing every day monotonously. Okay? When do we say Musaf? Just remember this so you don't get confused. There's no such thing as a Musaf on Hanukkah or on Purim. Because those are rabbinic holidays. Because think of it this way. There is a Torah prohibition, actually a death sentence, of bringing an animal into the Beis Hamikdash, in the area where the slaughtering is done, and doing a sacrificial service of an animal that is not required or allowed to be given on that day. So, if I don't have a Torah obligation, there's no way, the rabbis can't say, oh, we've made up this new Hanukkah korban. It sounds like something that deformed Jews would do, right? Let's make a Hanukkah korban. Really, we'll kill you on the spot. You can't bring in a korban, something that's not now a musaf, which means the extra offering. Mm-hmm. We have an extra Shmona Esrei to commemorate the extra offering that was done on that day. Shabbos, there was an extra korban. Rosh Chodesh, there was an extra korban. Pesach, Shavuos, there was an extra korban. Rosh Hashanah, there was an extra korban. Yom Kippur, there was an extra korban. Tisha B'Av, no. Hanukkah, no. Purim, no. Any of the other fast days, no. Tu B'Shvat, no. So there's no extra korban. So there's no musaf. Okay. The Torah is read each day. Is number 5. Okay, let's up until now we've got Ya'alev Yavo is 1. Okay, Hallel, Hoshanas, Musaf. Oh, we've got to pull them back in. How do we do that?
Oh, do they leave?
Says they.
Let me see if I can get him. Let me see if I can get him back in.
Doesn't work, we can turn the whole thing off and call back the whole thing.
Yeah, I just don't know how to. I used to be able to. You used to be able to just click on it and be able to just pull them in from that way.
No, you get it.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
You guys hear us?
Yes.
Fine. So let's just go back. We didn't go further. Okay, so we have number 1, Ya'alev Yavo. Number 2, Hallel. Number 3, Hoshanas. Number 4, Musaf. Okay. Altogether, there are only 6. So we have 2 more differences in the davening. Number 5. The Torah is read each day, including Chol HaMoed, right? And the psukim, the sentences of the specific korbanot of that day, are read during this reading. During Sukkot, you will notice that this changes. During Pesach, you will see that every day you are reading the exact same few sentences. Okay? 6. On Shabbos Chol HaMoed of Sukkot, the Megillah of Koheles, or Ecclesiastes, is read. On Pesach, Shir HaShirim is read. On Shavuos, Root is read. On Pesach, Shavuos, Sukkot, okay. On Yom Kippur, Yonah is read. Missing something. Okay, we then add the other Megillah on what you call Eicha, which is Lamentations, is on Tisha B'Av, and then you've got on Purim, Esther. That's it. With that, we've got all of the Megillahs that are read. Okay. Why are we reading Koheles? Koheles is written by Solomon, who's the wisest of all men. How do we know he's the wisest of all men? He was 12 years old when his father David died. And Hashem had spoken to him. He became a prophet very young, and he said to him, you have a choice. You can either choose more wisdom, or what was it, or or wealth or something like that. And he decided that he wanted the wisdom. So Hashem said, because you chose properly, I'll give you both. There would never be another person as wise as Solomon. Okay? He was given a special gift. All right. So now, this wise man had tried so many different things and learned astronomy and you name it, right? And he goes through lots of things and saying, I've seen it all, I've tried it all, and nothing has any value compared to Torah. He said, I've been the wealthiest man in the world, it's all meaningless. So here we are, we're sitting here, we leave our beautiful homes, we walk out to a bunch of sticks and grass, and we're saying, realize that everything that we own is all nothingness. Mm-hmm. The only thing that's important is to serve Hashem, to his mitzvahs, because this is the entire person. That's why this is read on sukkos. Okay. Hoshana Rabbah. The last of the 7 days of Sukkot is called Hoshana Rabbah. And you may say, aren't there 8 days of Sukkot and 9 days in the Chutz? No, there are 7 days. But what about Shmini Atzeret and Simchas Torah? It's not Sukkot. Okay, but isn't that the second day, the second Yom Tov of Sukkot? No, it's another Yom Tov all on its own. Okay, the last day of Sukkot is Hoshana Rabbah, which is the last day of Holomoy. Pesach has a Yom Tov at the end that is Pesach. Sukkot has a different Yom Tov at the end. It's its own thing. Okay, the Torah gives it a different name. It's for a different reason. You're not even in the sukkah. You know, when you see that on Pesach, we all of a sudden stop eating matzah on the last day. No. Okay, so why am I not allowed to be in the sukkah on Simchas Torah? Because it's not Sukkot. Okay, so all right. So the 7th and last day of Sukkot is called Hoshana Rabbah, the big granddaddy of all Hoshanas. Okay, it's not Yom Tov, and continues with the same halachas of Chol Hamoed of Sukkot. Nothing's changed. Shacharis is extremely long. Okay, it's longer than a regular Shabbos during the year, and it's very, very long. As the Hoshana service takes forever. This will be the last time that 4 species will be used. Men should remember to not follow the wrong minhag of destroying your 4 species before you get home. Okay, people are like, okay, let's, when is your wife going to take the lulav and enter that then? Well, I just destroyed it. Sure. Well, women aren't important anyway. They don't have this mitzvah anyway. Excuse me? Women may not have to live in the sukkah or eat in the sukkah. And the lulav and etrog are time-bound commandment that has no negative commandments and that is only a positive commandment, right? And the word saved by him. Yet, the lulav is one of those things that the Talmud tells us where took it upon themselves. So women have to take the lulav and the etrog. Sephardim don't say a bracha, Ashkenazim do. Same issue, okay? I'm just going to take it. So make sure you take your lulav and etrog and bring it back home in one piece. Okay? The dried 4 species, by the way, at the end are traditionally saved to be used for the mitzvah of burning the chametz, because anything that was used for mitzvah should be again used for another mitzvah, just be disposed of as garbage, right? Remember to also dispose respectfully of the schach. Okay, you're not taking the sukkah apart on Hoshana Rabbah. You're going to wait until after the next Yom Tov. This is where the mistake comes in. People think because they're not taking the sukkah down, next day is still sukkah. You're not allowed to live in the sukkah or eat in the sukkah on Simchas Torah or Shmini Atzeret. So why is the sukkah still up? Because I'm not allowed to deconstruct during Chol Hamoed. Okay, and okay, so then what can I do the next day? The next day is Yom Tov. It's a different Yom Tov. You're also stuck. So of course the sukkah is still there, but it's not there because you need it. It's there because you didn't have the opportunity to take it down. Okay. Do not throw the schach in the garbage, and do not step on the schach that other idiots did throw near the garbage. The deconstruction of the sukkah cannot halachically take place until after the last Yom Tov of Shmini Atzeret has concluded. And that would be deconstruction, can't do. Okay, fine. The night before Hoshana Rabbah is called Leil Hoshana Rabbah. The night of Hoshana Rabbah. It is an extremely strong day, a very important time. It's a strong tradition, not a halacha, strong tradition, stronger than on Shavuos, to stay up all night and study Torah. This day of Hoshana Rabbah marks the end of the Tshuva period. This period started from the beginning of the month of Elul, a month and 21 days ago, and continues to the end of Hoshana Rabbah, not through Simchas Torah. So therefore, we are staying up all night, learning Torah, because this is our last chance of a strong Tshuva period. Okay, Hoshana Rabbah is over. By the way, if you have a choice, I could stay up all night on Hoshana Rabbah, or I could stay up all night on Shavuos. Hoshana Rabbah wins out. The custom there is stronger. You may see more people doing it on Shavuos. That's become the cultural thing in our generation. Just because people today have given this more weight does not mean that they're correct in where there's different. Okay. Simchas Torah or Shmini Atzeret. This is, by the way, this whole thing of staying up on Hoshana Rabbah, it's still on thing. You gotta try to pull them back in, they just fell out again. Okay. Try pulling them in because it worked last time.
Let's see here.
Okay.
Alright. So Simchas Torah or Shmini Atzeret. This is not the continuation of Sukkos. All the mitzvahs of Sukkos are over. You're not even allowed to sleep in the sukkah. If you take the lulav and etrog and say a bracha on it, you're overusing Hashem's name in vain and Baal Tosif. You got two prohibitions there. If you want to on these days eat in the sukkah, just eating in the sukkah. You know, your living room isn't clean enough yet, or whatever it is. You just broke a mitzvah from the Torah. I'm not adding to the Torah mitzvahs. It's prohibited to eat in the sukkah on that day. Adding to the mitzvahs of the Torah is prohibited. Deraisa. So this would be the same thing as putting two mezuzahs on your door, or adding another parchment into the tefillin case. It doesn't work that way. So no, we're not going to have another day eating out in the sukkah. Oh, isn't it beautiful? I have so many guests because it's Yom Tov. It's bigger than our living room. Let's eat out there. Sorry. If you happened to, before Sukkot ended, 5 minutes before Shmini Atzeret came in, you were to take a sheet or a carpet and throw it on top of your schach. You're not building or deconstruction, but you're making the sukkah no longer kosher. Then, if you need the space to eat, you can use. This is done a lot in Israel, in hotels where they've got huge amounts of people coming to Jerusalem for the holidays. And the only place big enough, the dining halls are simply not big enough for the amount of people who are coming in. They bring in guests from outside or whatever. So they throw carpets on top of the schach, right like 10 minutes before candlelight. Okay? And then people are able to use the sukkah. Okay. Shmini Atzeret and Simchas Torah are a holiday on their own. It is different korbanos completely than does Sukkot. On this day, we finish traditionally the yearly cycle of reading the Torah and parade around with the Torah, dancing and singing as a whole community to show our joy of being the people who possesses Hashem's holy Torah and lives by its words. Does it have something to do with the tshuva process? No. Does it have anything to do with sukkos? Nothing. It's a holiday on its own. Happens to be right after sukkos is over, without a break. That's all. Okay. Liturgically, what's different in the Siddur? Well, okay, again, Ya'ala V'Yovo, full Hallel. Why full Hallel, right? Because it's a holiday on its own, okay? It's not a continuation of Sukkot and a different Korban each day, like, not for that reason. It's completely different Korbanot, not even slightly related, okay? Full Hallel, Torah reading, which is the end of the previous reading of the Torah and the beginning of the new one, okay? Musaf, by the way, remember on Shemini Atzeret, a whole week you've been saying Chag HaSukkot Hazeh in Musaf on this day of Sukkot. It's not Sukkot. Don't say that. Okay? It says right in there Chag HaShmini Chag HaAtzeret Hazeh, Shemini Atzeret, and even on Simchas Torah. For those of you who are outside of Israel, because there is no holiday Simchas Torah. There are just like there's 2 days of Pesach, 2 days of the first day of Sukkot, 2 days of Shavuot. There are 2 days of Shemini Atzeret. And it said in the davening, Chag Shemini Atzeret Hazeh, that there's no mention of Simchas Torah. And the Chutz people just colloquially call it Shemini Atzeret and Simchas Torah, but really it's all Shemini Atzeret. Okay? It's the real name. Shemini Atzeret means the 8th day of convocation. Okay. We're done with this. We're about ready to move on to Pesach. This is a very good nightmare. Okay. Pesach is wonderful. I love it. Halachically, this is a nightmare. Okay. This is what separates the men from the boys here. Okay. Of all of the Yom Tovs, this is by far the most difficult to follow. I don't see the Sobosinskis. Are you guys there? Hello? Shmuel?
I see
Do
that.
they hear us? I see the little picture thing.
Yeah, me too, but I don't.
Shmuel, are you there? Oh. Yael. Ari!
Let's see if I can try to get him back in here.
It's strange. Usually it blips off if they're not there. You guys there? I hear something.
Rabbi?
Yes, how are you?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay. Did you hear before? No.
Yes. Every day until Pesach again. You are studying Pesach.
Okay, fine. If you can turn the picture on, fine. If it's difficult, not. Okay, fine. Here we go. The
It's not
young face.
I don't know why, but the camera is not working.
It's fine. I know what you're looking for.
No, sorry.
Passover, we're going to refer to it from now on as Pesach. I'm not going to refer to it as Passover, okay? Is one of the Shalosh Regalim, just like Sukkot, the 3 pilgrimage festivals, okay? It has all of the laws of Yom Tov, all the laws of Chol Moed, just like Sukkot, okay? When Yom Tov comes immediately before and attached to Shabbos, the laws of Eruv Tavshilin will exist. Okay, it doesn't happen all the time. Okay, but when it happens, yes, you'll have to worry that if it's Pesach Shabbos, okay, I've got to deal with Eruv Tavshilin. Okay, Pesach marks Hashem's having freed us from Mitzrayim, Egypt. I'm going to refer to it as Mitzrayim from now on. This was, think about this, this was the mightiest empire the world had ever seen. You know, I want you to think about this. Little Zalman Weiss, at the age of 21, I forgot. So it was 30 years ago. So yeah, 21, was able to go into Russia, and through a little bit of political pushing, we got 67 people out of Russia. Mm-hmm. When it was, that's cute, but not one slave in hundreds of years had ever successfully gotten out of Egypt. And you say, but didn't Moshe get out? And didn't Aaron get out to help him? If you read the previous parsha, the Kohanim of every nation, the priestly force of every nation in Egypt, were never enslaved. Aaron being the Levites, okay, the Levites never had servitude in Egypt. So they were able to get out. But nobody, not one, the Talmud tells us, ever got out successful. Not just of the Jews, no slave ever left Egypt. This was the mightiest empire the world had ever seen. Chazal, our Chachamim, tell us that the miracle of Hashem's freeing an entire nation of slaves, when not even one got out, was so large, we have to say, well, no, the Torah tells us 600,000 got out. No, it doesn't say that. It says 600,000 men between the ages of 20 and 60 who were the ages of soldiers. Let's multiply that to try to figure out how many men, women, children, old people are in here. At least 3 million people. At least. In one moment, in broad daylight, got out of the world's mightiest empire. In fact, we left so quickly that our loaves of bread did not have time to rise. This is not a side point. We don't have the matzah as a side point. Oh, by the way, we got out so quickly, so because of that, the bread didn't bake, and so because of that, we make this whole holiday of Pesach in our houses because of some stupid side, ditty. No, that's the whole point. Hashem didn't get one person out, sneaking out through the barbed wire at night. Hashem took 300,000 people out in the middle of broad daylight in an instant. Mm-hmm. And therefore, the fact that it happened so fast that the bread couldn't bake, that's the whole point. You can think that you're unable to solve your problem. You can't solve your problems. But Hashem can solve any problems. Because Hashem not only sent the problems, but those who bread is going along.
Here's the problem.
Hashem is the problem. The tests are him. And he wishes to stop the test, or he stops it immediately. And therefore, Pesach is showing, we realize that Hashem runs the show 100%. Not 95%, not Paro, not 5% in the back. It's not like the Christians, the world's stupidest religion. Okay? Not like the Christians who would have, the good God and bad God. This Zoroastrianism, these people, the fact that they think that they're monotheists is like the biggest comedy show in the world. I mean, these people believe that there's a good God and then there's the Satan, which is the bad God, which is his enemy. I mean, people grow up. Okay, anyway, we say there is no anti-God. How are we proving that? Matzah. What's it got to do with it? The impossible, Hashem can do in a second. There is no force against Hashem. It's all mirage. It's all a ne'elam, or olam. Adon olam, the master of that which is hidden. He is the one who runs it all, and he is everything. He can get us out in the blink of an eye. So again, to commemorate the grandeur of this speedy and complete salvation, we don't eat any chametz or leaven. This is to remind us the entire week of Pesach that no matter how deep the difficulties are, Hashem has, does, and will save his people. His salvation is never limited and can happen in a moment. So again, not having chametz reminds us not only of the salvation for the Egyptians, but also of the instantaneous aspect of that salvation. Because of the importance of not eating chametz, there are prohibitions of Pesach that do not exist in any way close to this the rest of the year. And I'm not talking about the specific prohibition of chametz. I'm talking about how we view a prohibition. The way that chametz is treated, no other prohibition is treated as strongly. Because no other act that we do all year shows physically how we realize that Hashem is the absolute and total boss of everything. Mm-hmm. And that's why chametz is the granddaddy of like all mitzvahs, of how strict it is. Not only are we not allowed to eat chametz, we're not allowed to either own or see chametz or leaven, which is owned by us. This isur, or prohibition, of chametz is different from all other isurim, or other prohibitions and kashrus. With all other... Oh, we just lost them. No way.
Let me try get him back.
Wondering, is it your pulling them in, or is it them coming back on?
I think it's just them coming back on, but I'm going to, because it shows that you, me, and the Sobosinskis and Shira are still in the group, but I don't know. Let me try adding. Hang on here.
Here they come.
Okay, the connection here is very bad.
Yeah. Okay. With all other mixtures of kashrus and kosher and non-kosher foods, if less than 1/60th of a mixture, which was done by mistake, is mixed in, then the non-kosher food is considered as if it's not there. One drop of milk drops into your children's bowl pot by mistake, fine. But by Pesach, there's no such ability to cancel out or mevatel chametz. Not only 1 in 60, but not even 1 in 1,000 is allowed. Therefore, the care needed in the preparations of Pesach food is much higher than the rest of the year. The ability of error is disabled. There's no such thing. Consequently, Pesach food is expensive. The amount of people watching over a factory of food for Pesach is like an army. It's craziness. And the Goyish companies, and all of a sudden the place is like filled with a bunch of rabbis. Like you just, there's no room for error. None. But there are more reasons for the stringencies of the laws of Pesach. The prohibition on eating most non-kosher foods, is a lav. A don't do it. According to the prohibition, although the prohibition of a law, don't eat pig, right, is deraisa, and the punishment is flogging, hitting them with a thing that looks not the whip that you guys are used to thinking about in America. It's a completely different thing. It's about this long. It's thick straps. It's not ripping the skin. Okay, it's painful. It's not the thing from Texas.
Bullwhip.
So although a prohibition for doing a don't do is flogging, prohibition for eating a kazait, a small amount of chametz and pesach, is kares. spiritual excision for our people. The Talmud tells us that kares is considered much more serious than the punishment of flogging or being whipped. Since this prohibition, this issur, is so stringent, you will see many seemingly over strict actions being performed on and before Pesach. Never make fun of any tradition that is being strict for the laws of Pesach. They may be doing more than they have to do, but this is considered one of the praises of the Jewish people at how careful they are here. These people are trying to serve Hashem, and it's praiseworthy. Let's take a look at one such stringency. Because of the inability for a mixture of chametz and non-chametz to be canceled, and because of the stringency of the punishment of transgressing eating chametz, therefore some have a minhag, it's not an halacha, of buying all the food needed for Passover, Pesach, before Pesach. Even if the packaged food has a Pesach hechsher, they will not buy that product on Pesach, but only before. They haven't lost their minds. I'm going to explain to you why. By the way, Shmuel and Yael, you saw this before Pesach. Why are people buying half an apartment full of potatoes and carrots? Can't they just go to the store on Pesach? Huge amounts of people buy everything. They don't let anything in the house after Pesach started. You may say, what have they accomplished by this? To the uneducated eye, they've accomplished nothing. To the educated eye, which you're going to have in a moment, they've accomplished something very big. It might not be a requirement, but it makes a heck of a lot of sense. Okay. What they accomplished with this minhag is that all of the food, even if it had a Pesach picture, is still made by people. And people are human. They make mistakes. The night before and the morning before Pesach, we state the bitul, the nullification of any chametz that is in our possession now. Mm-hmm. This nullification works to make any missed crumb that I own now canceled. If I did not own this product at that time, and there is a crumb in there, I'm in trouble. So, in other words, yes, you have to have Pesach action. It does everything extremely carefully. Can you rely on it? Yes. Yet some people say, this is comments I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. I'm going to own everything before Pesach starts. I'm not going to be buying it even the more than Pesach, after the burning of the chametz and saying the bitul. Everything will be owned by me, either the night before or that morning before the husband goes and burns the chametz and then says the bitul. After that point, nothing enters the house. Okay, these people are doing something which, when you hear it, you're like, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. That's why when you walk around Jerusalem and Bnei Brak, you go to the fruit and vegetable store before Pesach. It's ridiculous. People buy 50, 100 kilograms of potatoes and carrots, and it's just it's all over the house, right? We're not getting anything. All of them, nothing. Every snack the kids have, popsicle, everything is owned before. There are people who even draw all the water before Pesach and keep it in barrels in their house. And any water used is something that's in their possession before. This is not a requirement. It's highly praiseworthy, but it's not a requirement. Okay?
So, Rabbi.
Yeah.
I've got a question as far as hummus is concerned. Um, how does I know that with the selling it, and all that, but how does that actually nullify it? Being that you end up getting that back anyway.
Okay, the nullification is a different thing than the sale. We'll get to that. The nullification, there are four things that have to be done to hummus before Pesach. One is you have to search for it.
Mm-hmm.
Next is you have to burn it. Next is you have to cancel it. Then you have to sell anything which is not going to fit into any of the previous categories.
Okay.
Something which you plan on buying back, you can sell. It's not what you're canceling. That's what you're giving the possession of something over, and you're planning on rebuying at the end. It's not, in other words, it's not being taken care of the first three. Okay. We'll get to it. I'm not suggesting that you take upon yourselves this stringency of buying everything before Pesach, especially these families with little kids. It gets to be difficult. I personally, for myself, try to not buy anything. We buy all the stuff for the kids. Yet, if my children wish to go to the store and get something on their own, I basically look the other way. Okay? Because one cannot be too strict with your family. You end up creating tension with the children. And I think that with my first two children, the reason that they didn't stay religious is because I was very not flexible, very tough father for the first two kids. And it backlashed. Not a good idea. Okay? Be more open with your children. You want to be strict on yourself. Have fun. Okay. Okay. Here, let's get to this thing. There are 4 halachic actions which need to be done with chametz that you own before Pesach begins. Number 1, bedikat chametz, checking for the chametz. Let me just turn this camera the other way. Okay. Bedikat chametz, checking for the chametz. We'll talk about what each one means in detail soon. Number 2, sreifas chametz, or sreifat chametz, which is the burning of the chametz. Number 3, bitul chametz, which is nullification of chametz. And number 4, mechirat or mechiras chametz, the selling of the chametz. How do you do that? Okay. Oh, I know what happened. They left. That's a whole kiss out. Try to get them back again.
That was the wrong button. Hang on.
Here they are.
Okay, I'm back again.
Okay, so all 4 of these need to be done before Pesach begins. Now let's go over each 4 in detail. A person might think, well, some of these don't really apply to me. I'm not selling anything. I'm selling hummus anyway. Okay, I don't need, what do I need to nullify? I cleaned everything, nullify it. Okay, in other words, all 4 need to be done to the hummus. Bedikat chametz, checking for the chametz. All of our possessions, including the car, your office cubicle, everything, not just what's in your house, anything that you own needs to be checked to make sure there's no chametz in them. And what happens if, let's say, Shmuel and Yael, you have a box at your parents or parents-in-law back in Brazil? What's your food? You left a bag of kosher pasta there, or crackers. That's got to be sold. But I'm in Israel, but you own your box over there. And when you're doing the sale, you have to state the address of where your stuff is anywhere in the world. Okay? So all of the possessions need to be checked to make sure that there's no chametz in them. We are not only looking for large things like loaves of bread, but we're looking literally for crumbs. What needs to be checked? Homes, cars, office, storage unit, yards. In these places, all areas need to be checked well. This includes all cabinets, under, movable furniture, in crevices between the wall and it. This is not limited to food preparation areas. If you would even want to eat a cookie in your bedroom, then the whole bedroom would need to be checked. Even if you do not eat in that room, but your children are considered by the Talmud to be, you're going to like this one, Yael, mice. If you have children, it's like owning them. Okay? They carry food everywhere that they can get to. So unless that area of your home is locked for children, you need to check the area. I'm going to tell you, we checked our whole house for Pesach. And at one point, I noticed one of my 2-year-olds running somewhere. I was like, where did he go? Where did he go? And he came in the house with a cookie. 2 cookies, actually. No, wait, it was 3 cookies. He came in with 3 cookies. Where did the kid go? He went into the bathroom. Now, he saw we're getting rid of all the cookies, right? So he wanted to store up the cookies. He went into the bathroom, and my wife and I are looking. Where did the cookies go? We saw him run in the house with cookies. Behind the toilet, there's this tube where the water goes out into the wall and then down. Mm-hmm. On top of the tube, behind the toilet, he had stacked 3 cookies. So that on Pesach, he would have his cookies there. We're taking his cookies away. Yes, you need to check everywhere if you have children. Okay. Any clothing that you may have worn while eating food and hasn't been washed. You wore that beautiful jacket or sweater to your sister's wedding. You ate something there? Bread? Yeah. Well, maybe you put something in your pocket, or maybe some crumbs fell down into your pocket. You turn the pocket to sand and wash it out, brush it out. If I wash the clothes since then, fine. But the sweater was clean. I just hung out. I'm going to use it until the next simcha. You have to check everywhere. Okay, even in the winter coat. Maybe I put in my pocket a cracker on the last freezing day, and it's in one of those little plastic thing that holds like 2 crackers in it. Maybe it's in your pocket. You have to check and see if there's anything, any crumbs in all the pockets, inside pockets, outside pockets, everywhere. Chametz is not limited to mazonos. It's anything that comes from the 5 grains of wheat, barley, oats, rye, and spelt, which is winter wheat. Even byproducts of these are chametz. So grain alcohol is chametz, gamor, complete chametz. Beer and barley is as much chametz as is bread. Okay? No distinction about it. Okay? Medicines, which have alcohol, are formed or are formed on a grain base. Such as many pills come with a starch, corn starch, or some come with a wheat starch base. The wheat starch ones are prohibited. Cosmetics, such as lipsticks, not only might have crumbs from your mouth, but are many times made on a grain base, as are eyeliners, by the way. Even if your lipstick is kosher, but you used it on your lips after having chametz, do not use that one on Pesach. Colognes and perfumes are many times made on a grain alcohol base, but I have heard, my daughter told me they heard a lecture from a Rav about modern perfumes. Really check this out on the internet, on the Pesach product places. There are places to find stuff on the internet. If you don't know, ask the rabbis in your community. I'm not so internet, knowledgeable, but I understand that today the professional perfumes and colognes are not made on real alcohol, but on synthetic alcohol because it's more stable. And before you go ahead and use your colognes and things, find out. And if anybody finds something definitive from some site, please copy it and send it to me. Don't give me an HTTP thing. I can't view it. My filter doesn't let me. But if you can get that paragraph, and show it to me, I would be very happy to add it to my notes. Okay. There are Peshach kosher listings, colognes, perfumes, makeups, everything. All these things. It's not just food. Even shampoos and other liquid toiletries need to be checked for alcohol. I'm not just talking about beer shampoo, and yes, there is beer shampoo, okay? But there are other things that have alcohol bases. Find out which alcohol. Isopropyl alcohol is fine. Ethyl alcohol can many times be made from grain. Once you have cleaned and checked all of these areas, then the night before Pesach, you need to do the actual search for the chametz. In other words, the first mitzvah of what to do for the chametz is search. All the cleaning you're doing beforehand is to enable you to do the search properly. It's impossible the night before to search your whole house if you haven't first cleaned the house completely. All right? Fine. So, the night before you search for the chametz with a bracha, you need to check at night with either a candle or I would tell you please use a flashlight. We need no fires here. Flashlights do just as good a job. This is necessary because of all of the nooks and crannies in the home must be inspected. When you are looking with a candle behind certain areas when the rest of the house is dark, like for example where your kitchen cabinet meets the wall. It's not perfect. I don't know what it looks like in America where things are made out of wood and you do have right angles. We're talking cement homes. There are no angles. Okay, everything is kind of. And so when you take a square cabinet and you push it into a non-square corner, you have a crevice. Okay, and you are therefore sitting in a situation of looking in there, and you find both places an interesting thing. Okay, it will be impossible to check the home in these areas if the home is not for cleanable. How much you need to understand why when you spend literally. Oh, we just lost them.
Try to get him back here.
Don't see him yet.
Trying to get them in, but it's not. Add to group. Done.
Usually don't fall this much. They do definitely fall more than other people. But,
yeah. See if that worked. Apparently that didn't work either. Okay.
Yeah. I've got it. They're definitely checked. Oh, here they are. Okay, there they are.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. So you're going to understand why it's impossible to check your entire house in one night when you just spent literally a few weeks of all your spare time cleaning and checking your home, car, office, and storage areas for chametz. This being said, the checking the night before Pesach is not just a ceremony. Rather, in a pristinely clean home, you will finally have the time to look in those corners between the bookcases and the wall. That's what the Tikkun Chametz is for. Tikkun Chametz, checking for Chametz, is not a joke. People, well, let me hide some Chametz, which we do. We'll talk about that. And then areas like on top of the kitchen counter. Excuse me, I cleaned the kitchen counter, and I covered it. There's no Chametz there. There's no reason to check it. But between the counter and the wall, that's where you're looking. Between the dresser that you can't move, because it's so darn heavy, and I did the sponge, the cleaning underneath it. Yeah, but what about between that and the wall? What about all the little places? That's where you're looking when you have a pristinely clean home. Right? Tikkun Chametz must be done the night before, unless you are leaving your home before Pesach. In such situations, consult a rabbi. The laws are very varied, and it depends. Yeah.
Why do we start in the night if it's better to see chametz in the morning, in the daylight?
Okay, because you're looking specifically in the little crevice. The main areas of the house, that's what you're cleaning during the day. But those dark places behind things, it's much better when you have a candle or a flashlight and everything else is dark and you're pinpointing light in places. Those are the places you're looking that night. You're not looking on your kitchen table that you just scrubbed and changed over and the covered. You're looking in those dark, and that is better when the whole house is dark and you've got the light shining into those little spots. Okay?
Yeah.
So in such situations, if you're leaving your house before Pesach, I'm not going to be there. Ask around as to whether you do or do not need to check the home that you are not planning on, or whether you just sell the contents, how long before you left for Passover. These are very specific questions, and a lot of questions will be asked of you before you get an answer. Okay, because it's very different. Now, by the way, just to make sure Shira is listening to these lectures, I want her to respond to this. We're testing you, Shira. Okay. You are disabled. Many people hire people to clean their home for them. If a non-Jew is cleaning your home, then you are not allowed to trust them halachically. Meaning, if Yael is here in Jerusalem and she hires some bacher in yeshiva to, let's say she's 8 months pregnant, she can't get down, and she hires some bacher in yeshiva to go and take all the drawers, take all the clothes out, put the clothes, dump the drawer, pat it down, right, sweep it out, put everything back in, then night before Pesach, she does not need to check any of those things. Whatever is on the list that we checked, she doesn't have to check it again, as long as she locked it and chose away from it. But if you, Shira, are in America, and you're in a place where I am not going to find a Jewish boy to check, then if you don't want to get on your hands and knees and do these things, then you stay in the room when the person is cleaning and you watch them clean. It's not that I don't think that this is a nice person, this Goyish person, but there's no way that a Goyish person can be trusted to understand what we mean by chametz checking. This is not spring cleaning. I don't care if it looks clean and neat or if it looks like the zoo. I care that there isn't a crumb of chametz. And a cleaning lady cares that it smells nice and that it's very neat and clean, but you could care less about starching your shirts with improper starch and putting it in the drawer. Okay, so therefore, yes, you need to watch them in every action they do before you check off. I don't need to check the drawer. I don't need to check this. I need to check that. Okay, Yael doesn't need to do that because she's in rules. Well, he's going to hire you to help it out. Okay, all right. All right. The minhag is that the house is absolutely sterile. Okay, 1 second. Let me just tell this person back afterwards. Hadassah, I'm teaching. Is it important? Well, yeah, I'm in the middle of teaching. Is it important? Okay, now? Okay, I'll be upstairs soon. Okay, bye. The minhag is to have a responsible family member. No, not Ari. Okay? An adult. Okay? Or a friend. Place 10 pieces of chametz that are in a bag, plastic bag, material bag, wherever you want, not that it can crumble anywhere, okay? To hide 10 pieces of chametz in the home before the head of the household will say the brachas, start checking around the house. This search needs to be taken seriously. That's why this minhag is done. You think there's nothing in your home. Now you leave, and they place actual chametz all over the house. First of all, you have a certain number of bags. Keep the children with you. Don't let them play games. And they moved it. Now you have a chametz somewhere. You have to check your whole house. So you've got 10 little bags. You've done exactly where they are. You do not let the children in those rooms where they are. You put them in places where he is supposed to check there. Yep, he's supposed to go under the bed. Right, he's supposed to check between the closet and the wall. Stick it there. Oh, I'm going to stick it right behind the kitchen sink. Come on. You scrubbed it. Stupid. Don't put it in the closet. No reason for it. There's no reason for him to check there. He has no obligation to check there whatsoever. Okay? You're not putting it in the place where you know you already checked. You're putting it in those few places which you saved for that night that are difficult to get to. That's where it's stuck. Now, as he finds it, you go around washing him and he says, found it. Good, check. Now you keep that little thing. Each of those little packages should be less all together, than a kazait. Try 2 crumbs in each bag. 1 little soup nut in each bag. Done. Why? In case I miss a few, a list goes somewhere. My child decided to play and didn't get on me. I can't find it. I'm up all night looking for anything. I don't actually have chametz in my house. That's enough to be a problem. Okay, so therefore make sure it's extremely small parts. What I do is I take half a cracker, and break it up into 10 pieces, and make it into the bags, and then to my wife. Each bag is numbered, okay? And then she writes a list where she hides them, kids to write her, and then I go and stuff them. Okay. After the Bidika, that's when you say the bracha of nullification. You can say it again in the morning. The similar text is stated the next morning, but then it's without a bracha. Sreifas chametz. The burning of the chametz we'll deal with next time. So, Josh, remind me that we're on page 115 at burning the chametz.
115.
Okay, Shira, burning the chametz. Shira is not here. I just want you send me an email saying, I just want to make sure you're listening to these lectures. Send me an email that you're going to watch Goy who's cleaning the house to Pesach. Okay. Okay.
Bye. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I had a question.
Yes.
I saw here last Pisa in the building, many people had, 2 weeks before, the sink had an aluminum foil, everything was ready. It means that 2 weeks before they're already keeping Pisa, no chametz in the house. Or
It might be that there a lot of people we do it the opposite. We do the kitchen at the end. We clean the bedrooms, clean the living room, clean the dining room. We start like eating on the floor in the kitchen, and like we converge on the kitchen and kill it like a few days before. Other people do it the other way around. The kitchen is kosher, kosher first, and any chametz food they have in boxes in the place where they eat outside the kitchen, and then they deal with the other things. You know, you have to start with like something. My wife found it more practical to start with everything else and convert in the kitchen, and you can always eat in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Other people find it the other way around. But you know, you are starting usually about 2 weeks before Pesach. People are cleaning, so people actually start cleaning sometimes a little more, depending on the size and how much free time they have. And there are some people who see so many little kids around in such a small place. What they do is they just switch over and they say, we're not having any chametz in the house at all, no snacks whatsoever while we clean. You want to eat chametz? Go out. You'll see this a lot. People are going out and eating at the falafel stand. They're eating chametz. They're just not bringing it in the house. They go out to the bakery, but they don't bring it in the house because they're in the process of cleaning. And they're like, anything that's chametz, to like have it out in the hallway, and you know, in bags. And if you want to eat it out there. Anybody, the door is locked. Kid wants to come in, he has to knock. Okay, we check to make sure he's not bringing in any chametz. We lock the door behind him, because all you need is if you spent 2 weeks cleaning, and then your kid decides to hide the cookie behind the toilet. That's all you need. Okay. Now we're going to find out. Don't freak out and kill your family here. This is why we have 4 things. I'm checking for the chametz. I'm burning the chametz. And then I'm notifying that I don't know about. So if my kid had left the cookie behind the toilet, and I have honestly cleaned as much as I can, the nullification works. Okay? But I'm supposed to do whatever I can. Doesn't mean being easy, but it also means don't destroy your family. I remember one time, one of my children, I realized we were being a little strict. One of my children, we sent the kids outside to clean their tricycles, because my wife and I were changing over the kitchen. So we said, outside, clean your tricycles for chametz. Okay. Just get out of our hair. Okay. And so one of the kids comes in crying, hysterical. And I said, what's wrong? And he said, my older brother just called me chametz. I said, so what? And he said, that means you're going to burn me tomorrow. I was like, it's gotten a little bit too far. It's got to be a pleasant experience. The family working together, trying to have the mitzvah done properly. It should be fun, okay? But serious. Fun but serious. Okay? They call me comments. See you all next week. Bye-bye.
Okay, Rabbi. Bye-bye.